4 new MPs will be elected to the House of Commons today. There are federal by-elections taking place in 3 provinces. Voters casting ballots in the Montreal riding of Notre Dame de Grace Westmount, Oxford County in Ontario, Winnipeg South Centre, and Portage-lisgar, Manitoba. The Liberals are expected to hold on to their seats in Montreal and Winnipeg. The Conservatives expected to hold on to their rural seats in Ontario and Manitoba. With me now is Lori Turnbull. She's a political analyst. Lori, good morning. Good to see you today. So, could we be in for a surprise tonight with these by-elections? Could there be some big changes coming?
Honestly, I think I don't want to prejudge the outcome of elections, but I think the big expectation is that the Conservatives will keep what they have and the Liberals will keep what they have. What could be interesting to watch, I think, is what happens under the surface. And so, what is the voter turnout going to be? How much of a turnout is Maxime Bernier going to get in Portage-lisgar? What might happen in the Notre Dame de Grace Westmount riding, where there's quite an interesting race shaping up there. I think Anna Gainey will be the one to be first there, but Pedneau, one of the co-leaders for the Green Party, is running there, so there would be a sense of what the future might hold for that party, depending on what kind of a chunk of the vote that he gets. So all kinds of things going on.
Right. And what do you make of the timing? I mean, it's summer, let's be honest, and people are not really focused as much on politics as they might normally be. Do you think that turnout will be okay? What are your expectations around that?
So you're right. I mean, when oftentimes with by-elections, we don't see as strong a turnout, even though we don't see terribly strong turnout in general elections these days either. But by-elections tend to be even lower turnout because, for the reasons you say, the whole grip of a general election is not present during a by-election. Although the fact that there are 4 of them means I think there's been quite a bit of attention paid to them, and the ridings themselves, the races themselves, are turning out to be quite interesting. Even in Oxford, for example, there's been a bit of a back and forth around the candidate selection process there, and the candidate being, for some people, the feeling is that this is a parachute candidate that's coming from the leader and not somebody who was chosen in the sort of typical way from the local riding association and that kind of local contest. And so even that has been shaping up to have a bit of has put an unpredictable sense over that race, because there are some Conservatives who are saying they're going to support the Liberal. So we'll see what happens there. And I mean, Portage-lisgar, the big issue is going to be what kind of a vote is Maxime Bernier going to get? And is that going to make Conservatives worried that the PPC is going to be a force to be reckoned with? And if that happens, is there going to be a sense of a tug of war, right? Because the PPC, if they do well, and Bernier is going to say he does well no matter what, but if they do well, it's going to be a sense that the Conservatives might lose something on that side and might have to pull more in that direction versus, if they do that, is that going to maybe isolate them from other more centrist voters where they might be wanting to build support in other parts of the country? So it could represent a bit of a challenge for the Conservatives.
And then there's the shadow of foreign interference hanging over these by-elections. How does that factor in?
I mean, it's a really interesting issue. I think the foreign interference issue, obviously, it's something that we have to be more aware of. We have to learn more about. We have to understand how foreign interference is taking shape and what it means and how to be more aware of it. I think, though, that by and large, there is a sense of trust in Canadian elections. I don't think there's widespread concern that administration doesn't go well. I think that the reasons that foreign interference issue is taking such a hold federally have to do with the fact that, of course, it's very important if we have to deal with foreign interference and what it looks like. But it's also, I think, a measure of the government in terms of how they're managing things. And it goes beyond the foreign interference issue. But it seems to me probably for the most part, people do still have that confidence in Canadian elections. And so I don't think there's a broad sense that there's any reason to be concerned with the legitimacy of these contests.